Hello students, this video lecture is the part 2 of the video lecture of class 8th subject science lesson first, food production and management. So let's begin. Improving soil fertility. The topsoil has a dark layer of humus. This layer is rich in nutrients such as nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, which are essential and beneficial for plant growth. Being porous, this layer also holds sufficient water and act as a useful storage to serve the dry months. Every crop uses substantial amount of nutrients present in the soil. The soil can be replenished with nutrients by adding manures and fertilizers. What in these two paragraphs this book is telling that the topsoil, which is the uppermost part of the ground, is rich in nutrients which are nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and which is also important for plant growth. And being porous, this layer also holds sufficient water and which is useful in the days when there is scarcity of water. And crops uses nutrients to grow, and if the soil lacks these nutrients, farmer has to add manures and fertilizers to replenish these nutrients. Now let's see what are manures and fertilizers. Manure is an organic substance obtained from the decomposition of animal waste like dung, urine and plant waste by the action of microbes. Farmers add manure as such or convert it first into compost. So manure is an organic substance. Now what is organic substance? Substances which are made from the living organism such as animal waste, dung, urine and plant waste by the action of microbes. These organic substances are rich in nutrients which farmer spread in their field, and later the crop is very good. And this type of farming is known as organic farming, the farming which do not use fertilizers but only manures. Now manure can be used directly or it can be first converted into compost. Now what is compost? Compost, let us see now. To make compost, all animal and plant wastes are evenly spread in a pit dug in the ground. The pit is then covered with mud and leaves to protect it from the air and light. Microbes ferment and decompose these wastes and convert them into simple material which serve as excellent nutrients for the plants. So to make compost, first farmer takes all the animal and plant waste and put it in a pit and then covered it with mud and leaves it to protect from air and light. After a few days, microbes ferment and decompose these wastes into more simpler materials which can be used directly by the plants as their nutrients. Now let's see what are fertilizers. Fertilizers are mixture of chemical compounds which are rich in nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. These are made in factories and are easier to store and handle. These are added to the soil in proper amount and are directly absorbed by the plant. Excess uses of fertilizer is harmful for both plants and the soil. Therefore, proper combination of manure and fertilizers is used to increase the crop yield. The major difference between manure and fertilizer is that manure is organic or can be made from animal or plant waste, but fertilizers are a mixture of chemical compounds and they are made in factories. Further differences between manure and fertilizers will be discussed in the next page. So now let's move forward. Organic manure is considered better than fertilizers. This is because it enhances the water holding capacity of soil, which means if a farmer use organic manure, then the water holding capacity of the field will increase. It makes the soil porous, due to which exchange of gases becomes easy. As we know, roots of the plants need air or particularly nitrogen, and manure makes the soil porous, which helps in the exchange of gases easily. It increases the number of friendly microbes. Which means the manure helps to increase the number of microbes which are good for the health and growth of the plant. Next, it improves the texture of soil. Now, what is texture? In Hindi, it means banawat. So, we can say that something is made good or not by just seeing it, touching it. So, what manure do to the soil is that it adds more humus, which makes the soil more dark in color, and one can say that this soil is good for growing plants or crops. Now let's move forward and see the differences between manure and fertilizer in the next page. Here are few points. Let's read this. Manure are made naturally from plant and animal waste by the action of microbes, whereas fertilizers are made from chemicals in the factories. Manures are biodegradable and fertilizers are non-biodegradable. As you have already studied in class 6th and 7th, biodegradable are those which can be easily broken down into simpler substances by the microbes present in the soil, whereas non-biodegradable are those substances which are not easily or take much time as compared to biodegradable substance to break down into the simpler substance by the microbes. Next, bulky and difficult to transport. Manure are bulky and difficult to transport, whereas fertilizers are light and easy to transport, which means manures are not easy to transport from one place to another, whereas fertilizers can be packed in a bag, plastic bag, and can be sent from one place to another very easily. Now, next point, not an accurate source of nutrients, and fertilizers are an accurate source of nutrients, which means fertilizers well crafted and chemically made those nutrients, whereas manures are made by the microbes and humans have no control what nutrients will be there and not there. Now, next fifth point, cause no harm to aquatic life as it is insoluble in water. And fertilizers, accumulation of fertilizers in water bodies may cause harm to aquatic life through the process of eutrophication, as manures are made from the organic substance, so they are rarely any harmful for the animals which are on land or in the water, whereas fertilizers are chemical compounds which may harm to the aquatic life and to the life on the ground. Next point, do not cause pollution of soil as it is derived from organic matter. Overuse can burn the plant and distorts soil fertility by making it too acidic or too basic. As I said, manures are rarely harmful, whereas fertilizers are harmful to the animals and plants due to the chemicals present in it. Now, next we will see nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen, as we all know, it is present in the air, which is about 78% in the air and 21% oxygen and rest other gases, and it is also an essential constituent in all the living organisms, and all the plants and animals need nitrogen, but they cannot take directly or they cannot use directly nitrogen from the atmosphere. First, it has to be changed in the forms that can living organism consume, and this conversion is done by the bacteria named as rhizobium, which lives in the root nodules of plants such as beans and peas. What these bacteria do, they take the atmospheric nitrogen and turns it into nitrogenous compounds, which can be directly used by the plants and animals. This conversion process is known as nitrogen fixation. Azotobacter is also a bacteria which performs the same function. The nitrogenous compounds are taken directly by the plants through their roots and utilized in synthesizing plant proteins and other compounds. When a plant dies, the nitrogenous compounds present in their bodies are converted back into nitrogen by the certain bacteria which known as denitrifying bacteria, and this function is known as nitrogen cycle. Next topic is shallow field, which is also a method to increase or regain the fertility of the field. And how it is done? It is simply done by leaving the land for a season or one or more season, and while this happens, dead plants or animals are decomposed by the action of microbes in that field, and nutrients get added to the soil. Next part is about irrigation. As water is an essential compound for growth of plants, different crops require different amount of water. Irrigation, also known in Hindi as Sinchai, is the process by which sufficient quantity of water is supplied to the crops. Various sources of irrigation are tube-wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. Some of the irrigation method pictures can be seen down here. This is sprinkler irrigation, this is basin irrigation, this is furrow irrigation. Now let's move to the next page and discuss about the traditional method of irrigation. Traditional method involves drawing water from wells or canals and irrigating the field. Old techniques of drawing water from the well are more. Actually, here is a correction. Well are more, and correction is that this R should be or. Well means kuan and moat means khai. So water drawing techniques is to draw water from well, which means kuan, or from khai. So correct this. It should not be R. It should be or. Now let's move forward. Which uses a pulley, chain, Hakely and Rahat. Now one drawback of these systems are that there is lot of wastage of water. However, things have changed after independence. With the construction of dams across rivers, water from dams is carried by the canals to dry regions. An example is the Indira Gandhi Canal that irrigates the dry states of Gandhinagar, Gujarat and Bikaner, Rajasthan. In south, tanks are used to store rainwater, while in north, dams, wells, tube wells tap groundwater, which accounts for over 50% of the water for irrigation. Now let's move forward and see the modern methods of irrigation. First one is furrow irrigation. In this, ridges and furrows are made in fields where crops are planted in rows. Crops are grown in ridges and furrows supply them with water. Now first see that what is furrow. As if you have noticed in the last page, in this picture, this is furrow. Actually, there are alternate depression in the ground where the water fills, and the higher part of this ground are the place where seeds or plants are planted, and just beside that water is filled so that the plant can grow with the help of water. So this is the ridge and furrow system of irrigation. Now let's move forward. Bed and basin irrigation. This method is used for crops like rice that need a lot of water. Bunds in the form of a basin are made in the field, which is then flooded. In this type of irrigation, the whole field is filled with water because the crops that are planted, they needs lot of water to grow. And if we come back here, this basin irrigation, the center picture. Now let's move forward, which is drip irrigation, and this method is adopted where there is very shortage of water, such as in the desert area or near the desert area. And how it works, the water is made to dip into the roots with the help of network of pipes, which are also known as emitters. So water is not wasted, the water flows drop by drop. So this is known as drip irrigation. Next is sprinkler irrigation. In this method, water is sprayed on crops. This method is economical and useful in large plantation and gardens. Pipes having rotating nozzles on their top are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. Water is made to flow through the main pipe with the help of a pump. A jet of water comes out of the nozzles and is sprinkled on the crops. It works well on sandy soil. So sprinkler irrigation can be used in the large fields or gardens. Now let me show you the picture. This is the first picture is the sprinkler irrigation. As you can see, the water is sprinkling left and right. Now let's move forward. Next part is weeding and crop protection. Weeding. Many undesirable plants grow along with crop plants. Such plants are called weeds. These compete with the crop for water, sunlight, nutrients, and reduce the crop yields. To remove the weeds is called weeding. Weeding is done by hand using small spades, trowels, khurpa, or a harrow. Special chemicals called weedicides are also sprayed on the fields to kill the weeds. These check the growth of many weeds but do not affect the main crop. Some such weedicides are 2,4-D or dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, MCPA or metachlor, etc. Now what is weed? Weeds are the plants that grow in the field with the main plants or main crops. So, and what does they do? They compete or fight for water, sunlight, and nutrients with the main crops. And the process to remove the weeds is called weeding. Weeding can be done by hands using small spades, trowels, which is also known as khurpa, or with the special chemicals which are known as weedicides that are sprayed on the fields to kill the weeds. And one benefit of weedicides is that they only destroy the weeds, not the main crop, or do not affect the main crops. Some of the weedicides are given, such as dichlorophenoxyacetic acid, MCPA, or metachlor, etc. Now let's move to the next page. Next is crop protection. Crops need to be protected from birds and pests, especially at the time of grain formation. This requires daily attention of the farmers. Birds can be scared away from eating grains by erecting a scarecrow, a figure resembling a person dressed in old clothes. The common pests are insects and rodents, which such as rats and rabbits. Rats eat the grains and destroy the roots, whereas insects, even in larva stage, eat the leaves of the plants. Bacteria, fungi, and viruses causes disease to the plants. For example, rust and smut in wheats and blight in rice. Now, in this paragraph, few harmful things are discussed for the crops, such as birds, insects, rats, rabbits, bacteria, fungus, and viruses. Now, how one can protect his crops from these harmful elements? Now, let first discuss about birds. Birds can be sprayed using the scarecrow. This is the picture of a scarecrow. And I hope most of you have seen this in your nearby fields. Now next, move forward. Chemicals are used to kill the pest or insects are called pesticides. These are chemicals which selectively kill the pests as well as their eggs and larvae, but do not harm the plant. These are mostly insecticides such as BHC, benzene hydrochloride, BTT, malathion, parathion, diazenon, etc. Insecticides are sprayed at an appropriate time in the life cycle of the pests. Pesticides need to be used carefully. One must cover her mouth and hands while spraying the pesticides and take care not to inhale them. These should not be used in excess as they leave a residue in the soil which is harmful for the crops as well. So in this two paragraphs, methods of killing the pests or insects are given. Now the medicine which kills the insects is known as pesticides, and few of them are mentioned here such as benzene, hexachloride, DDT, etc. And some precautions are given in the next paragraph for using the pesticides in the field, that are: one must cover his or her mouth and hands, or take care to not inhale them, and also the amount of spray of the pesticides should not exceed a certain amount, because it is also harmful later for the crops. Now next, harvesting and storage the crops. The process of collecting the ripened crops from the fields is called harvesting. In India, we have two main crop seasons, that are Kharif crop and Rabi crop. Rabi crops, these are the crops which are grown in winter, that is in October, and harvested in the spring, that is in April. The Rabi crops is also called as spring harvest or the winter crops. Major Rabi crops are wheat, barley, tea, mustard and gram. Next is Kharif crops. Kharif crops are usually sown in the beginning of the first rain in July during the southwest monsoon season and are harvested in October. The Kharif crop is also called the autumn harvest or monsoon crop. Major Kharif crops are millets, which are bajra and jowar, paddy means rice, maize, green gram, groundnut, cotton, soybean, sugarcane and turmeric. So these are the two types of crops, mainly crops in India. Now let's see how to harvest them, which means how to cut them and store them. Now let's move to the next page. Crops are removed or cut by hand using a sickle, or in large fields there are mechanical harvester. Now let's see threshing. After a crop is gathered, the grain is separated from the stalk by the process known as threshing. Threshing was earlier done with the help of animal which trampled over the grains. Nowadays this is done by machines called thresher. A motorized machine called combine is also used for both harvesting and threshing. Combines are used on large agricultural farms. So the threshing is the process to remove the grain from the stalk, and you can see the picture of a mechanical thresher known as drummy wheat thresher. Now next is winnowing. Once the grain are separated from the stalk, they have to be separated from husk, chaff and hay. The process used to separate the grain from husk and chaff is known as winnowing. In this process, the mixture of grains with husk and chaff is taken in winnows and is allowed to fall from a height. The seeds, being heavier, fall straight to the ground, while the light chaff is blown a little further away by the wind. Thus, the gravity of the earth and the density of the material help in winnowing process. And in this figure, we can see a lady winnowing the crops. The process is very simple. The person takes the grains and makes the grain to fall from a height. The seeds are heavier, so they directly fall into the ground, and calves are lighter, so the wind flow them little further away, so the calves and seeds are separated. Now the grains have been separated, so we have to store the grains. Now next process is of storing the grains. Before storing, the grains should be made moisture free or they will get spoiled, as moisture content in the stored grains will lead to the growth of microorganisms, so they have to be dried in the open sun. Nowadays grains are filled into gummy packs and carried away to the godowns. On large scale, storage is done in silos and granaries. Now, what is silos? Silos means a room which is below the ground level. Or Hindi, we can call it as Bhumigat Kach. And granaries. The silos keep the grains free from moisture and attacks by pests. Here, the grains may also be periodically inspected to check the spread of any disease. Godowns are fumigated to make them free of pests. Fumigation is the process of spraying vapors of chemicals to kill pests and infection. So you can see that storing the grains is also a careful process, and before storing, the grains should be dried in the sun and to protect it from the moisture and pest. To protect it from the pest, chemical sprays should be done periodically, which is also known as fumigation. So this is the end of part 2 of this chapter. Now in next part we will study about crop improvement and more. And till now, if you have any doubt, please do comment in the comment section. Thank you.